Hi, Linda Zuckerman here. Today we will be learning how to answer reference questions, and yes, there is a trick to it. We will be sharing our best practices on how you can accurately and efficiently answer your customers' questions. The American Library Association and one of its divisions, the Reference and User Services Association Division, or RUSA, has looked into best practices for reference interactions, and they've discovered that there are certain behaviors that lead to success. Today, we will discover why these behaviors are important and also what the 5 elements of model reference behaviors are. Librarians are highly motivated to answer their customers' questions, and nothing makes you feel as bad as failing to do so. So, how often do you think librarians fail to provide a correct answer? According to a 2002 study, John V. Richardson Jr. found that reference librarians have a 90% accuracy rate in answering reference questions. This means we answer 1 in 10 questions incorrectly. But model reference behaviors, or MRBs, have shown to improve accuracy significantly. These studies suggested several possible reasons. Communication failures and poor interviewing techniques among them. So the big reason for giving incorrect answers is lack of communication. But there are specific techniques that can be used to improve communication, and that's where model reference behaviors come in. Also, sometimes customers just don't ask, and we can address that too. So, why don't customers just ask for what they need? There may be many things going on, ranging from not knowing if they're in the right place, to not wanting to appear stupid, to not wanting to bother the librarian. Or they may believe they can probably find it themselves. In many cultures, including American culture, asking questions or needing help may be seen as a sign of weakness, especially if you are asking a stranger. In a study of adult student learners by Lisa Ismail, adult students will seek help from their friends, from instructors, from the internet, and only then consult a librarian if they have an urgent need. In other studies, it is clear that adults strongly preferred to have the help of people they have relationships with. So, what can we do to encourage our customers to ask us questions? Use model reference behaviors. These behaviors establish a level of trust between the librarian and their customer. And once you get the relationship going, it'll be easier the next time. There are 5 steps in the reference process, and they are being visible and approachable, showing interest, listening and inquiring, searching and teaching, and following up. Let's explore each of these in a little more detail. The first 2 behaviors, visibility and approachability, and showing interest, are steps that establish the relationship with the customer. Everyone who sets foot in your branch has a potential question, yet many customers have no contact with library staff at all. One way to seek out these hidden questions is to proactively search for customers who might need help. This includes roving the area and scanning your environment for customers. Even if they don't need help at the moment, you've begun to establish that relationship with them, and they're more likely to seek you out later. Be highly visible. If you are in a virtual location, ask yourself whether your chat box is easily accessible. And if someone is chatting with you, are you acknowledging them rapidly so they don't feel like they're chatting into a void? After a while, you'll develop some skills in identifying the body language that says, "I need help." When establishing a relationship with a stranger, we instinctively look for friend or foe signals. You need to understand your own body language. Are you signaling friend or are you signaling foe? Eye contact, smiling, and greeting are friend signals. Smiling is one of the easiest things you can do. However, if you're not a natural smiler, look for ways that you are comfortable with to signal that you are there to help. Once you've established contact with your customer, the next step is to convey interest. This is done through whole body listening. It's good at this point to try to be at eye level with your customer. You might invite them to sit down at the desk, or you might stand to convey you're giving them your complete attention. Face the customer and lean forward slightly. Signal your understanding by nodding. If you're helping a customer on the telephone or answering a question virtually, be sure to maintain regular voice or virtual contact with the customer. And don't appear hurried, even if there are customers waiting. They will generally be happy to wait for excellent service. Now let's talk about listening and inquiring. This is the heart of the reference interaction. Librarians at the Maryland State Library Resource Center like to say that this is where the magic happens. But the first question is not necessarily the real question. Here are some communication tools you can use to get to the underlying need. First, don't interrupt. It is important to get the customer comfortable with talking to you. Use open-ended questions. Rephrase the question. And ask clarifying questions. Using open-ended questions is one of the most powerful techniques that you can use in determining your customer's true need. Open-ended questions cannot be answered by yes or no. The goal is to get the customer to talk, to expand upon what they're trying to do. Common open-ended questions include, what kind of information do you need about blobfish? Or, I'm not sure what a blobfish is. Can you tell me more about it? Or, where did you hear about blobfish? What information have you already found? We've attached a list of common open-ended questions to this module for you to download. Then, once you get an idea about what the customer wants, rephrase the question. So, you want a book on blobfish habitat? Now you can ask closed questions, yes or no, to clarify the request. Is a book source okay? Or, when do you need this by? Let's look at two scenarios of a reference interview. While the first scenario may seem a little tongue-in-cheek, almost every librarian can give you an example of getting off on the wrong foot in a customer interaction. The second scenario shows model reference behaviors in action, but there's one behavior missing. Can you spot it?
Library. Let's take a look at two different examples of the reference interview.
Excuse me, sir?
Yes.
I had a question. Can you tell me, can birds fly?
Yeah, birds can fly.
How could our staff member have handled the situation differently? The staff member did not greet the customer. The staff member did not confirm that the customer's question was fully answered. The staff member did not offer additional assistance. Let's take another look at the same reference interview, this time with a few improvements.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi there. I have kind of a silly question today. I was wondering, can you tell me if birds can fly?
Maybe I don't understand the question. Are you asking, are birds able to fly?
Well, I'm going on a vacation in Michigan, and I'd really love to take my pet parrot, Polly.
Oh, okay. Well, let me check the information. Now, what airline are you flying on?
I'll be flying Southwest.
Okay, Southwest. Well, one more might check the information, okay?
Thank you.
Now, have I answered all your questions today?
You sure have. I think Polly's going to love the snow.
Okay, well, great. If there's any more questions, just feel free to ask, okay?
Thank you.
So, the one listening, inquiring skill that was missing, did you catch what it was? In the second scenario, the staff member went right to rephrasing the question. While this did get the customer talking, a more effective method would be to ask open-ended questions. A question such as, please tell me a little more about what you're trying to do, or asking for more background, is a more effective way to get to the customer's real question. Take a look at your list of open-ended questions and find a few that work for you. In general, there are 6 things you need to know before you begin your search. Who is the information for? What information does the customer already have and what is needed? Why? What is the customer planning to do with the information? Where did the customer hear about the information? For example, many customers find out about books from TV or radio talk shows, and this clue might help you find the book more quickly. And when? Is there a deadline? Finally, how? What type, amount, and format should the information be in? Now we can finally get to answering the question. But not only do we need to search for the answer, we also need to model good searching skills. This is a teachable moment, a moment where we can help our customers improve their own digital literacy skills. So it's important that we be transparent and let the customer know exactly what we are doing while researching. We'll get into detail about how to search later in another lesson. However, here are some basic tips. Involve the customer in the process. Describe what you are doing. Use broad tools first. Try to identify some good keywords. Use them and see what you get. Use your reference tools. You have databases and print resources. You may need to use those. Don't just rely on Google. And don't overlook types of sources. Remember, there are still encyclopedias even though they are online, and sometimes Wikipedia is a good source, depending on what you're looking for. Seek help from colleagues or subject matter experts. Don't forget, the State Library Resource Center at Enoch Pratt Free Library is available to back you up if you have a complex question. You can also refer the customer. This is especially important if a customer is asking for specific advice, like in healthcare, in law, or in business. You should always refer them to a professional in that area, in that case. Don't be afraid to make some phone calls, like to the State Library Resource Center, to seek an answer to the question. Try different approaches. Part of answering the question is citing your sources. Even if you know a piece of information, like how to spell something, it's good practice to look up the information and cite your source. This helps the customer learn where to get information and how to refer back to it at a later date. It also helps to establish your credibility with the customer. The final step in model reference behaviors is following up. Remember that study done about librarian accuracy in answering questions? Following up with the customer had the strongest correlation with accuracy because it allowed the customer the opportunity to tell us if they didn't get their needs met. A simple question like, "Does this completely answer your question?" has big payoffs in accuracy. And it sets the stage for an ongoing relationship, as does, "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" Or, "Please come back and see me if you need anything else." If you can't find the answer to the customer's question, be sure to try to refer the customer to someone who can. You may need to get the customer's name and contact information if you're going to refer the customer to another library staff member or other subject matter expert. Try to set some expectations about when they can expect the other library staff member to get back to them. Okay, now it's time to practice. This is the only way you will be able to make the model reference behaviors your own. So download the model reference behavior checklist and practice using these behaviors with your colleagues. Then it's time to have a supervisor or colleague watch you in action. Did you incorporate all the behaviors with your customers? Good luck, and I hope this training helps you completely answer your customers' questions.